Hey there guys, I am so excited for today's video and it's going to be a little bit long, but you'll have to forgive me because this is my Book Expo 2019 haul. I almost did not go to Book Expo this year. I was in a group that was going and then the other people in the group weren't going and it was just like kind of a mess. And eventually I just kind of decided that I was gonna go no matter how many other people wouldn't go with me. And then it turns out at the end of the day I was the only one who went. And I was really not super pumped about it because I am an introvert and Book Expo is a lot of people and it's a lot of waiting in line and you have to like talk to people. It's not great. I am completely indebted to Alexandra and Chelsea from Death of an Author Reviews, whose website I will link down to in the blog because they are the best people. I met these guys last year at Book Expo when we were both successfully sprinting up and down the Javits Center trying to get a copy of Laini Taylor's Muse of Nightmares, which we all got. And we hung out, talked a little bit. It wasn't like a really long interaction. These girls did not really know me. But this year when I tweeted about going on my own, they sent me their spreadsheet and they let me hang out with them for Book Expo. So genuinely best people in the world, and it made my experience at Book Expo this year just so much different because they were so open and so nice and they knew what they were doing. Half of the books I'm about to show you I probably have because of them, because in the last couple of months my car has needed thousands of dollars worth of repairs. One of the great things that happened is that my tailpipe just rusted right off. So I really didn't plan for this Book Expo, but I did have some things that were really important to me going into it that I knew from last year, at least. One of the things that I really shouldn't have done last year was that I got so many books personalized to me, and what that meant was that even when I realized that I wasn't going to read them and I could have given them away, they were signed to me, and because I'm a book hoarder I also didn't just want to give them away. So this year I really wanted to get less books, and then out of the less books that I got, get less books signed to me. And I know that there are people out there going, are you crazy? But my thought was, if I'm not super excited about a book, or if I don't at least know something about the book, I want to save that book for somebody who maybe is really excited about it, because there were a lot of books that I hadn't heard about going into this Book Expo that people around me were like, I'm so excited for this book. So I did get about like a fifth less books than last year, saying that I got around 50 last year and I got around 40 this year. Out of that 40, I only got 9 signed to me, and I'm very, very proud about that. And you should be excited about that too, because it means that once I finally sort through this mess, there will be more books coming your way. So I want to start off this haul by showing you those 9 books that I was so excited about and I knew that I would get them signed to me. I will mention that this haul is not going to be exhaustive. We're going to pretty rapid fire go through all the books that I got. So, you know, if you see a title that's interesting, write it down, do something with it, because I'm not really going to talk about it too much unless I feel that there's a relevant story. So one of the first books that I got absolutely signed to me is Rage by Cora Carmack. If this cover looks slightly familiar, you may have also seen the cover for the first book in this series, which is Roar. And the first book was one of those books that I was like, just based on the cover, I knew that I needed to have. So when I saw that Cora was there, I was like, I know, I need to get that signed to me. Mackenzie Lee was also there signing her new book for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is Loki, Where Mischief Lies. And this cover kind of makes him look like the Batman's Joker, but you know, weird DC Marvel crossovers. I almost died getting this book, like extra security had to be called because of the signing line. It was this whole mosh pit of crazy. So by the time I actually managed to get a copy, which a lot of other people didn't, I was like, just based on the scary way that I got this book, I needed it signed to me, but also Loki and Mackenzie Lee. Last year at Book Expo, I had the fantastic pleasure of meeting author Annie Sullivan, who was there signing her first book, Touch of Gold, which I reviewed on the blog and will link to up above when I get there. And I remember loving her because she was so excited about her book. She was dressed in the sparkly gold dress. She was signing in a gold Sharpie, and she was just fantastic. And the first day of Book Expo, she was in line. One of her friends gave me this really amazing tote bag because she wasn't using it. And then when I went to her signing, she was dressed in a crown and a tiger striped dress because this is her new book, Tiger Queen. And based on the sheer fact that Annie Sullivan is an amazing person, I knew that I needed to have it. I also picked up a sequel to another book that I got last year, and so this is Natasha Gann's Girls of Storm and Shadow, which is the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire. Kind of sad that the cover's not final yet, but hey, my arcs match. I queued for almost 2 hours to get a copy of Renee Diaz's The Beautiful. Renee is one of the only authors that I could see like a vampire book coming out now and be like, yes, I need that, because her other books are some of my favorites of all time. So I pretty much read a cookbook, back of a cake mix box, instructions in fine print if she read them. So I'm not sorry that I queued for 2 hours for this. Tara Sim was there signing her new book, Scavenge the Stars. And cover alone, I needed it. I've heard a lot about this book going into Book Expo, and it seems like the kind of thing that I would love, so duh, signed to me. It's very rare that they give out finished copies of books at Book Expo, but they were giving out finished copies of The Stormcrow by Kaylin Josephson. And I mean, have you seen this cover? What? It's one of the weirdest books that I've heard a lot about, and so you should definitely look it up if you're like, what do you mean by weird, Gretchen? But I mean, between that and the fact that it was finished, I was like, yes, sign that to me. And then another finished copy. This is Maya Montaigne's Nocturna. Look at this cover. When I saw that she was going to be there, I was like, they better have finished copies because I will die if they do. And they did, but I didn't die. So, you know, but anyway, I mean, just look at it. Look at it. And then finally, for the last book that I got signed for me, this is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. I picked up the first book in the series, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, kind of by accident at Book Expo last year. And Bridget is one of those people who gives me faith that people understand that Beauty and the Beast is problematic, but you can rewrite it to be less problematic. So I wore my Beauty and the Beast shirt that said I'd rather be reading, and I got a hug. So that was probably one of my favorite interactions, like all of Book Expo. So the rest of these are not signed to me. Some of them are signed by the author, and I did get to meet them. Some of them were just arcs that I picked up. And I'm going to try to go through these, like I said, a little bit faster. We'll see how that goes. This is The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. If the cover does not look familiar, it's because this is not the final cover art. The final cover has a beautiful African-American girl on it, and you should check it out. Random lucked into 2 different arc drops at Orbit, which is a division of Macmillan, and this is one of them. This is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, and this is The Queen of the Conquered by Karen Callender. I did not cut a copy of Leigh Bardugo's Ninth House, but since snakes are literally everywhere this year, this kind of compensates. Not really, but if you think that the Loki signing was bad, the absolute train wreck that was people trying to get tickets for Leigh Bardugo is like a topic for an entire video all its own. A book that I did stay in line to get signed is Rebecca Roanhorse's Race to the Sun. This is one of the new Rick Riordan Presents books with a Native American main character. Super excited about this and literally anything that comes out of this imprint. Renee Watson has a new book coming out. It's called Some Places More Than Others. It's a middle grade, unlike some of the other stuff that I've read by her, but I have loved everything that I've read by her so far. This happened to be lying randomly on a table, and it is mine now. I lucked into a really short signing line for Katie Zhao's The Dragon Warrior. It looks like a Rick Riordan Presents book and is even blurred by J.C. Cervantes, who will show up in a second, but it isn't actually one. It's a Bloomsbury, but I don't care because I love it. Speaking of J.C. Cervantes, art drop for The Firekeeper, which is a follow-up to her Rick Riordan Presents book from last year, which I also got at Book Expo. Cannot thank the girls from Death of an Author Book Reviews enough for being there for the art drop of Serpent and Dove, which I would not have known about otherwise. I'm real excited about this book, and I got denied on Edelweiss, but I'm not denied anymore. Speaking of authors who have new books coming out that I'm really excited about, this is Brandy Colbert's new book, The Revolution of Bertie Randolph. I reviewed Brandy Colbert's Little and Lion on the channel, which I will link to up above. I really love her writing. She has this way of writing intersectional stories that are amazing, and I'm sure this one will be no different. I'm usually not one for like horror or suspenseful books, but this is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. This is one of the ones that I was most excited to grab because it sounds so cool and so timely, and even if it's a little bit scary, I'm okay with that. This is Slay by Brittany Morris. Look at the cover. I've been dying for this book since I saw the cover, so maybe you also recognize it. Frankly in Love by David Yoon. This author may sound familiar because his wife is Nicola Yoon, and apparently they just have like this fantastic corner on YA contemporaries. There is too much talent in one marriage there, and they should share. Rin Chupeco has a new one coming out called Wicked As You Wish, and I also was denied for this one on Edelweiss, but hey, look what I got in a drop. I was lucky enough to see Tochi Onyebuchi signing War Girls, and I got this, and his level of enthusiasm for Book Expo was matched by probably nobody else but Annie Sullivan, so I immediately fell in love with him. This is The Future of Another Timeline by Annalee Newitz. I waited so long for this book because she was so chatty, and one of my gripes about Book Expo is that like all of these fantastic authors are there and you want to talk to them, but at the same time you want to respect people in line behind you and move as fast as possible because you all have places to be, and I have mixed feelings about that kind of social interaction. I love you authors. Thank you for taking the time. This is The Chain by Adrienne McKinty. I was handed it while waiting in line for something else, and I have to hold it like this because they put weird blurbs on the front. This is To Check In at the Pineway Motel by Katarina Bavald. I picked this up on accident. And this is a sampler for Movies and Other Things by Shea Serrano, which the first book he wrote was real popular at my Barnes & Noble, so I was handed it. Molly Brooks was there signing the new Sanity and Tallulah book called Field Trip. Speaking of middle grade graphic novels, there's a new Sunny Rolls the Dice by Jennifer Holm and Matthew Holm, which I also have. More middle grade, A Monster Like Me by Wendy Swore. Wizard for Hire by Obert Sky. This is a sequel to a book that sounded really amazing and that somehow I missed entirely when it came out. Isle of Misfits, First Class. The Nocturnals, Fallen Star. Jennifer Nielsen has a new book coming out called Words on Fire, and it's historical, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I have another Nocturnals book I forgot about. This is an easy reader, though, called The Chestnut Challenge. Did you know they're making Marie Lou's Batman into a graphic novel? 'Cause I didn't, but now I have it. This is Sarah Faring's 10th Girl, and this is one that I can promise you will be in a giveaway because I don't like horror, but she was signing and I thought you guys might like it. Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. What Makes Us by Rafi Mittelfeld? I don't know. Look at the cover. It's pretty. Find it on Google later. Paul, Big and Small by David Glenn Robb. I keep saying Ross. It's not Ross, it's Robb. It's like take 200 on that. Scars Like Wings by Aaron Stewart, and Tarnished the Stars by Rosie Thor. Whew. We made it to the end, guys. There are other books that I picked up, some that I got randomly, some that I got as gifts. So there's like a stack that's about the size of one of the 3 stacks currently sitting next to me that I also picked up, but they're definitely gifts for other people. And so I didn't think that I would show them to you guys. For instance, I've already given away a copy of Madeline Finn and the Library Dog that I got for someone I work with at the library. Got a couple picture books for some of my coworkers who have young grandkids who I thought might enjoy them. Got a tote bag and an entire bag full of graphic novels and comics for Michaela. Maybe you'll see those at some point, who knows. And I did get the sampler of Maggie Stiefvater's Call Down the Hawk, but since it's a sampler and it's already spoken for, didn't want to tease you with it too much, but I found that randomly sitting on a table. This year's book expo was really interesting and a really fascinating experience, and I'm glad that I decided to go on my own even though I was really nervous about it. And I look forward to going again next year and learning more and more every time I go. So look forward soon to a giveaway once I sort through all this and decide what it is that you're getting. It'll hopefully drop next week, but I have a lot of other traveling going on. I'm turning 25 this month, so, you know, we'll see what happens. But June 18th, drop me a line on my birthday. Make me feel old. Or, you know, be nice, but it's the internet, so probably make me feel old. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thanks for hanging out for this whole video, guys. Bye!